going to give this a moment to let the waiting room clear. As a reminder, please mute yourself as you enter the hearing. Okay. Good afternoon. This is a hearing before the Boston Cannabis Board, the BCB. Today is August 13th, 2025. Today's hearing is being conducted pursuant to temporary amendments to the open meeting law. This is what allows us to meet virtually. This hearing is being recorded and will be posted to the City of Boston's website. Before I review some procedural matters, I will introduce Chairwoman Kathleen Joyce.
Thank you, Luke. Good afternoon. My name is Kathleen Joyce. I'm Chair of the Boston Cannabis Commission Board, and I'm pleased today to be joined by Commissioner Lisa Holmes, Commissioner John Smith, Commissioner Ramon Soto, Commissioner Sonal Gandhi, and Commissioner John Kensley.
Okay, thank you, Chairwoman Joyce. My name is Luke Santhouse, and I am the Boston Cannabis Licensing Specialist for the Boston Cannabis Board. I will begin by calling each item in the order they appear on the agenda. We have one amendment item to an already approved license, a new license application, and a new license application that was deferred from the May 28th meeting. The licensee for the amendment will have 5 minutes to present, followed by questions and comments from the board members. We will then move to the new license application, who will have 10 minutes to present to the Boston Cannabis Board, followed by questions and comments from the board members. We will then take public testimony, beginning with elected officials or their representatives, followed by the general public. The new licensee, deferred from the May 28th hearing, will be given 5 minutes to present, followed by questions and comments from the board. No further public testimony will be accepted on that matter. If you wish to testify, please sign up via the link that will be put in the chat. Additionally, you may use the chat function to request to testify as well. Please wait until the matter in which you would like to speak about is called. Do not use the chat to give testimony. It will not be considered. Please state your full name, address, and affiliation. Testimony will be limited to 2 minutes, at which time you will be muted. Additional testimony may be submitted in writing to cannabisboard@boston.gov. The record will be kept open until Tuesday, August 19th at 5 p.m. The BCB does not give any more weight to spoken testimony than it does to written testimony. Okay, we will begin with our first item. The licensee is HVV Massachusetts, Inc., doing business as Happy Valley. The license premise is 220 McClellan Highway in East Boston. The license type is a co-located marijuana retailer and medical treatment center license. The request is to amend the operating hours from the current hours of 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week, and they are requesting to change these hours from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. 7 days a week. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Attorney Jeff Drago with Drago and Toscano with the business address of 11 Beacon Street, here on behalf of HVV Massachusetts, Inc., doing business as Happy Valley. And I also have Michael Reardon, who's the CEO, who can answer any questions on behalf of the company as well. Thank you for your time. And as was mentioned, we're here seeking to amend the hours of operation from its current hours, which are 7 days a week at this location from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m., to add an additional 2 hours, 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. Just given a little bit of background, Happy Valley was one of the first locations to be approved for medicinal marijuana at this location at 220 McClellan Highway. Then in 2020, in October, they signed a host community agreement as both a co-located medical and adult use location, and they've been doing business since then in East Boston, and been an active member of the community. Just given their location along McClellan Highway and along 1A, their proximity to downtown Boston, but also to Boston Logan Airport. They have a really diverse clientele, many commuters coming at different times, many airport workers coming at different times. So these hours change would actually really help to serve the community as a whole, number one. Number two, since opening, there's been a lot of competition just where they're located from places like Revere and other locations in East Boston that have later hours currently. And this would also help bring in additional revenue for them and to meet some of those competitors as well. But also, obviously with that competition after the pandemic, just bringing in new business has always been positive for them, but also with the competition that gets a little more competitive. So they would like the opportunity to have those hours and also to, number one, meet the needs of their existing clientele that are driving by that highly trafficked area on 1A. This is the only location in the East Boston area that has direct parking on site. So there's plenty of area to house as new clients come in and park. It's discreet. It's well lit right off of 1A. They've also been very active in the community, and that was evident in the different organizations they've sponsored, but also from the Orient Heights Civic Association that supported these change of hours unanimously at its last month's meeting. We also had a very productive abutter meeting, so no concerns with the changes of hours at all on the site. And with that, that really is it. We can pause to answer any questions that the board may have.
All right, thank you. Now we will move on to questions from the board members, starting with Chairwoman Joyce.
Thank you for that explanation. I might have questions after public testimony, but right now I don't have any questions.
Okay, Commissioner Holmes, do you have any questions?
No, sir, I'm good. I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Soto?
No questions.
Commissioner Gandhi?
No questions, but I'd like to make sure and ask a clarifying question. We had an applicant in our previous meeting about extending their hours, and I want to be sure that this request is not inconsistent with current hours for existing marijuana locations. I believe that's true, but I just want to confirm with the staff here. In other words, I don't want to set a precedent for a location that's open longer than existing locations are allowed to open.
Commissioner Smith?
No questions, Luke. Thank you.
Okay. And Commissioner Kinsella?
Yeah, thank you. How many current employees do you have there?
Currently, I believe it's between the retail staff and we have a distribution staff here as well. I think we're at 19 employees.
And how many additional positions do you envision this would be able to create if you're able to have those 2 extra hours of opening?
It will create 3 more full-time positions.
And has there been any engagement with your staff that you're like trying to extend these hours? Do you have a sense how many of your employees would be willing to work until 11 p.m.?
Yeah, we have the proper leadership coverage to handle the additional shifts. We will have to obviously go to market through human resources outreach to hire additional staff to be able to be open this many days, 7 days a week. Right now, we have the ability to open for 3 days a week. As soon as we have this, and then we'll have to hire additional people, like I discussed, to be open 7 days a week at these hours. Our staff is aware of the fact that we're pursuing this. Obviously, they know what's best for the business, so they're anxiously awaiting for this opportunity. They do believe that it will be a significant boost to our revenues based on the feedback they've already heard from customers and patients that have been coming for years, that it's hard to get here by 9. They work in the services industry, food and beverage, hospitality. Their shifts, a lot of them end, and they need to get here between 10 and 11. Actually, a lot of them wanted us to be open, trying to request till midnight. But yes, they're aware, and everyone's waiting for a decision today.
Okay, but you haven't gotten a sense that any of your employees are worried that they would be, or they wouldn't have the willingness to work until 11 p.m. Most of them who have heard the plans are willing to have some adjustment to their schedule in order to make it work better.
Yes, they are. They're aware of and they're willing to work the hours.
All right. No further questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We will move on to public testimony, starting with elected officials or their representatives.
Oh, the shipping.
but so it's private, but the problem.
Okay. Any public testimony or any elected officials to give testimony on this matter?
Hi, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Eva Jones, representing the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services regarding 220 McClellan Highway. Our office defers to the board's judgment on this matter. A community process was conducted, including an abutters meeting held on Monday, June 16th. It was not attended by any community members. The proposal was also reviewed and has been in active communication with the Orion Heights Neighborhood Council. At this time, the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services defers to the board's judgment on this proposal. Thank you, everyone, for your time and consideration.
Okay, thank you. And seeing no additional testimony, the board will take this matter under advisement. Okay, we will now move on to our new license applications. The first matter we have, the applicant is Legal Greens Boston LLC, doing business as Legal Greens. The proposed license premise is 571B Washington Street in Dorchester. This is for a marijuana retailer license. The proposed hours of operation are 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. 7 days a week. This is an equity applicant. They filed their application on June 24th, 2025, and they filed with Inspectional Services on September 19th, 2024, and they held their community meeting on July 30th, 2025. This applicant has been approved by the BCB for delivery courier and delivery operator license. And before we begin the presentation, I will ask Akila Armstrong, who is the Cannabis Equity Program Manager for OEOEI, to read the equity certification.
Thank you, Luke. Good afternoon, everyone. Our office was able to certify Legal Greens Boston, doing business as Legal Greens, as an equity applicant through the documentation submitted by the applicant Vanessa Jean Baptiste. Ms. Jean Baptiste is the president, CEO, and 51% beneficial interest holder of Legal Greens, meeting the 51% interest threshold set forth in the ordinance. Ms. Jean Baptiste meets the following criteria. 1, a person who has resided in the area of disproportionate impact as defined by the Cannabis Control Commission for at least 5 of the past 10 years. Ms. Jean Baptiste has submitted bank statements establishing Boston residency from 2014 to present, as well as residency in Brockton and Randolph, and both Brockton and Randolph have been designated as areas of disproportionate impact per CCC guidelines. Number 2, she is a person who is of Black, African American, Hispanic, Latino, Asian, or Indigenous descent. Ms. Jean Baptiste has self-identified as Black and of Haitian descent and has provided her driver's license and birth certificate. Number 3, a person whose annual household income is at or below 100% of the area median income. Ms. Jean Baptiste submitted a notarized letter from her CPA confirming her household income, as she has not filed her taxes. The letter confirms her household income is below 100% of the area median income for Brockton. Are there any questions about this certification?
All right, thank you, Akila. We will now move on to the presentation. Who is present on behalf of the licensee?
Tito Jackson, and we also have the Legal Greens team. I want to thank Madam Chair, as well as this august board, for the opportunity to be before you again. You will be very familiar with what you have seen, what you will see today, because this location is actually the same location that had been previously approved as a actual dispensary, and thankfully you approved as a site for delivery. I will note we did have prior conversations with the community and let them know that we were open to this opportunity of reopening a dispensary in the site that a dispensary had previously been operating in for several years. We have received overwhelming community support from elected official, the local elected official, as well as at-large officials, and many people from the community who literally on a day-to-day basis come by the site and actually ask for a dispensary to be present. I'm really lucky and honored to be working with the Legal Greens team to get this up and running. So I will hand this over to Mark and Vanessa.
Thank you, Tito. Hello. Okay, go ahead. We'll get the presentation. I want to say hi to the Boston Cannabis Board. Thank you for having us today. Vanessa's getting the presentation ready. Again, like Tito said, you heard from us last presentation, and it's somewhat similar. We're just adding the retail component to the project at 571B Washington Street. Again, the team consists of Vanessa, I, Kurt, and Mike that is operating it. Vanessa's CEO, I'm the COO. And we go to the next slide. Kurt will be handling community stuff, and Mike is our attorney. Diversity and inclusion plan. We plan on hiring staff from the Dorchester area. Currently, we're with the same steps that we're doing right now in Brockton. Looking to hire minorities, looking to order product from minority suppliers, providing technical assistance to startups, and just making sure that our mentorship participants and testimonials for workshop attendees and equity participants are satisfied. Our location at 571B Washington Street is not within 500 feet of a school, no buffer zone conflicts, and it's a commercially dense area with a lot of residents. Again, it's already been a dispensary, so we would just come in and just add our operation components to it and operate it just like it's been. For transportation and parking, there's public parking, community parking, literally right around the corner. We have access to Shamont Station, Talbot Station's right up the street. The buses go up and down Washington Street. And yeah, we plan on hiring locally, so a lot of walkers and people from the area that could ride or take the bike over to the store. Employment plan, 12 residents from Boston, at least 5 women, competitive wages, and we plan on hiring individuals with criminal records that are accepted by the Cannabis Control Commission. Continued employment plan, we plan on starting, managers 18 plus, receptionists start at 16, bartenders will start at 17. 40 hours paid time off every year after you've done a year with us. We plan on posting things on the Boston Globe, Dorchester Reporter, staying in contact with the Codman Square Neighborhood Council to, let them know when we're hiring and keep them engaged in the whole process. That's it for that. Let's see. Like Tito said, community support, State Representatives Russell Holmes, City Councilor Brian Worrell. We have a few other counselors that wrote letters of support for us as well. Non-opposition from the Codman Square Neighborhood Council, and letters of support from local residents and businesses. Our building security plan, we plan on having 24 cameras. We already had the camera guys come in and check it out and give us quotes for all that stuff. So with battery backup generator, no blind spots. And when we're getting product, we plan on we are going to have like everything within the CCC regulations, whatever drivers are going to come and deliver to us, all that's going to be licensed by the Cannabis Control Commission. Same thing with the cash transport. Any incidents that happen, we will report it to law enforcement and the CCC. For on-site security, we have panic buttons at the registers, and which would allow remote monitoring and ensures rapid response if there were to be an issue. youth access prevention. When a customer comes to the store, they'll have to ring the bell, present their ID at the camera before entry. Then our security personnel would unlock the front door. And after the ID is shown, we would scan the ID, verify that the person is 21. And only valid IDs are allowed access to the sales floor. Fake or individual invalid IDs result in confiscation and police notification. ID would be again shown at point of sale when the actual product is being sold to confirm the legal age and that the person that is purchasing is on the ID. Again, we've been doing this out of Brockton for 4 years. We've had no issues, knock on wood, and we plan to continue our success story in Codman Square. Any questions?
All right, thank you. We will now move on to questions and comments from the commissioners, beginning with Chairwoman Joyce.
Thank you very much. This is just a technical thing. I don't know who signed Vanessa, the buffer zone attestation. So the delivery courier license and the delivery operator licenses are their own licenses. So technically this is a buffer zone conflict with your own licenses. So I'd like you to resubmit the buffer zone attestation saying that there is a buffer zone conflict. Those things can be overcome with explanations, and I'm sure we'll get to that just by the fact that it's your own place. But you do have a buffer zone conflict, so I would just like to have the record reflect that.
Okay, thank you. Thought it was retail to retail. Sorry.
No, each license. Okay, I might have questions after public testimony, but right now I don't.
Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Holmes.
Okay, a couple of questions. Did you all inherit this? I know this was a previous location that we licensed. So did you inherit the inside of the store? I mean, did they leave all the stuff? Like, did you have to put up the new cameras? Did you have to buy all the new displays? Or did you take this over as is and now you're just putting your touches on it?
No, so we definitely have to add new cameras. The holes are there, where the cameras and the wires, all the wires are still there, but we do have to install our own cameras, which we would have done anyway, just to make sure it's the same company that we're using.
Yeah.
And as far as the countertop, no, that was taken as well, but we already built our own. So.
And now, as far as the fact that I think it was last month, right? You all got the courier and delivery license, right?
Yes.
So is the staff that you have for the courier and delivery license, are they going to be separate from the staff you're going to be using now for retail?
Correct.
Okay, so how many people did you hire for the courier and delivery?
12.
And so you're going to add
12 more.
Yep.
And 12 more. Okay, all right. And out of the 12 more that you're adding, is somebody or at least two people going to be designated security only, not doing bud tending and doors and licenses?
Correct. Right. They're going to be security personnel at the reception area. Yep.
Okay. And what about
bartender?
What about out front?
Not standing
Just
outside.
at the door, right? So when you ring the bell?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and they'll be the first person that whoever the customer, they'll be the first person that the customer sees.
Yes.
Would be the security person who looks at his ID or whatever, then they move on through to the next.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. That's the only questions I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Soto.
Thanks, Luke. I guess I just wanted to comment on the what I was reading through as far as the letters of support, and just one point of information. It may be just in the files, but I didn't see the letter from Rep. Holmes. So I don't know if it got in the mix and maybe the Warrell one got doubled or something, but just flagging for either our team or to request it from the other side. Um, in terms of the community and the aspect, how do you see the retail aspect sort of being incorporated within the fabric of the business community there and the surrounding community?
Um, I think it'll be just fine. There was a dispensary there prior, and for example, we're located right next to the liquor store, which have told us plenty of times that their business has gone down since the dispensary has not been there. So they're asking us every day when we're going to open up. And there's a lot of other, people from businesses from the community asking when we're going to open up. So I think everything's going to work out great, and we're coming here to succeed.
Yeah. Commissioner Soto, as noted, there's a noticeable gap now that the dispensary is no longer there. It was a destination, and frankly was pretty successful in terms of the foot traffic there. And frankly, the other objective is to not have empty storefronts, which you and I both know lead to a whole host of other things that kind of go on. And as these folks have actually purchased the building, there's also an interest in ensuring that the building becomes cash flow positive relative to the financial commitments that are related to it. But I will note. Literally on a day-to-day basis, as work is being done, there are people who are coming and wanting to make a purchase there. In addition, I would note that this also means people could be going to other places and other aspects of the economy relative to cannabis. So there is a component here. We're having a legal licensed cannabis dispensary is also a displacement of some of the other avenues that people may go to get cannabis.
All right. Thank you very much. No other questions.
Okay. Commissioner Gandhi.
Thank you. My question is about parking and transportation. You mentioned 12 existing employees, 12 new employees, and then the customers. I know that there was some material about bus routes, et cetera, in your presentation, but what is your plan for employee parking? And if there is any that's going to be provided, and then how do you ensure that there isn't any congestion on the site with the customers, and where will the customers be expected to park?
There's parking. So there's Walgreens is actually about to shut down. We heard about that in September. So that parking lot that's like in between Walgreens and where we are at 571 B Washington Street will allow us to have parking there. But again, we're hiring people within the neighborhood, walking distance. And then there's side streets that do have available parking that I've seen during the working hours as well, from just being there. There's no like personal parking because the back is an easement between both parties, and they have deliveries, liquor deliveries that's happening there as well. So, and we would be having deliveries, so we can't guarantee that back parking for employees, but there's definitely surrounding areas, and we'll take care of that when like we're hiring, and make sure people are living close, and just taking all those things into account to make sure that we're not congesting the area more than it already is.
Thank you. And customer parking would be where?
So there's a public parking right next door to us, and we're in and out. So our transactions, if somebody places an online order, they could pull in and be out of the store in 120 seconds, literally 2 minutes.
All right, thank you. And that's public parking. It's not a privately owned lot.
Yeah, it's public.
Okay,
it's not
thank
private.
you.
Yep.
Okay. Commissioner Smith.
Yeah, so sorry. Just thank you all for your presentation. I actually don't have any questions. I live very near that area, so I know it well. The public parking is used by the grocery store across the street, all the residents, the liquor store, and I know that the Walgreens is closing. Sometimes though in the parking lot, there's a lot of different people hanging out. So how are you guys thinking about that in terms of control?
Um,
It can get busy, I know.
Yeah, and Commissioner, we have the same concerns that you would have. One as a resident, also as a commissioner. The objective is to make sure that customers are unimpeded and safe in their entry in and out. Our security guards will be doing. We have multiple, so there's obviously the person at the desk, and in addition, another security guard who will be mobile, who will be doing sweeps on a regular basis. One for trash, just to make sure that cleanliness is upheld, but also to make sure that people are unimpeded in their ability to go to and from the dispensary and back to their vehicles. So that is a shared concern of both of ours in terms of ability for our customers to be able to have free movement. And in particular, in the nighttime hours, if individuals do want a walk to their car, we're more than willing to extend that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we also invite all of the commissioners to come at some point.
Okay, Commissioner Kinsler.
Yeah, so my main question was the one that Commissioner Holmes asked. I was a little worried. I thought you were going to have the same 12 people be doing both jobs. So I appreciate that this is creating 12 additional jobs. In the hearing back in June when you were applying for the delivery license, you had been open with the fact that you would be applying for a retail license eventually. I guess the impression I had from it was that there would be a little bit more time between. So I was just curious if there was something that happened between then that kind of sped up this process, or if the plan was try to apply for both of these licenses separately, but to secure them both before you actually open the storefront.
No, what actually happened was after the community meeting that we had with the neighborhood council, they expressed that they wanted retail as well. In the community, while being there, having access to the property, everybody kept, knocking and like trying to come in, and we're like, no, we're gonna do a delivery. And then it was like, well, what about coming in? And then we're like, well, we're looking into that, but we didn't have a solid answer for them until we actually have to go through the process and see what happens. So that's how we ended up there. It's just really the community and what we've heard from outreach.
Okay, so that leads into my next question nicely. Have you run into any of these like elected officials or community groups who were supportive of the delivery license that are not supportive of retail or less enthusiastic in their support than they were for delivery?
None.
Okay. And then finally, we talked a lot in the June meeting about the logistics of the delivery in terms of, using the driveway in the back and having some of the orders secured the day before with the deliveries to go out the following morning. Do you envision that having the retail space open for walk-in will change any of the logistics for delivery, or do you think you can still run that as you had originally expected?
Same. It would not change anything.
It will just not give people options to either come in or do delivery.
All right. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any additional questions or comments from the board members?
Hi, yeah, just a couple things I was just thinking of in response to some of the other commissioners' comments. One thing to consider if you haven't already, I'm just wondering if there could be an added incentive for employees if they were offered some discount on T passes as a way to encourage folks to take public transportation if they're living close enough, rather than taking a parking space away from a potential customer. And then the other piece was on Commissioner Smith's comments. I imagine, if you haven't already, that in your kind of like security planning overall, but if the lights over in that parking lot are dim, or if there are any other sort of issues, that would require some level of engagement from the city. I would certainly encourage that if there are elements that are not supportive of safety for the general community in a parking lot. But the other piece I was going to recommend is, in addition to the kind of rounding by security, I think if there are persistent issues, as the landlord and as the folks there, I would also highly recommend calling 311 in order to have a regular sort of because if it is a persistent problem, right? If it's a one-off thing and someone says, hey bro, like we're trying to let our customers get to the thing, like that's another thing, right? But if it does become a persistent issue, I think notifying 311 and then create sort of if it is a pattern, it'll show up in that way, and then you could have a more kind of impactful conversation on it. So those are just the two things based on some of the things I heard from the other commissioners. Thanks, Luke.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Soto. And we will continue to stay in contact with the district counselor, which we've been in constant contact with. This organization has been on the ground, immersed in community activities, also not only on their business activities, but really willing to roll their sleeves up in the community, and will stay that way. So we will definitely continue to have that. I will also just note there is somewhat of a displacement component when there's a couple of hundred people going to a place a day. That actually sometimes, and what we've seen data wise, typically there's a decrease in crime around dispensaries, just because we actually have pretty nice cameras, and there's a lot of folks in areas. So once that stream comes back, we do believe that we actually things can continue to progress in a positive way, but we will definitely continue to stay engaged with the municipal and state officials in the area. We really appreciate that.
Okay, any other comments from the board? All right, seeing none, we will move on to public testimony, beginning with elected officials or their representatives.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office would like to defer to the judgment of this board, some background information on the community process. So for this particular license, we had done a abutters meeting on July 30th. It was well attended. Overwhelmingly, those that were in attendance were supportive of this proposal. We also received several letters in support as well. They re-engaged with the Codman Square Civic Association, which I understand is supportive of this license being sought by the applicant. We're also in contact with the local city council's office. With that, we'll defer to the board. Thank you.
Okay, Timothy, I see you have your hand risen.
Hi, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the commission. Timothy Guimond from District 4 City Councilor Brian Morrell's office. I just want to first thank Vanessa and Mark, as well as Rep. Tito Jackson, former councilor, for all of your active support and constant communication with us. This applicant, they have followed up with all of the requisite neighborhood associations, starting with Melville Park, as well as the Common Square Neighborhood Council. They have continued to follow their commitment to equity, safety, and an entrepreneurial spirit. With that being said, the councilor wants to go ahead and share his support. And thank you all very much for your time.
All right, thank you. Any other elected officials or the representatives? Okay, moving on to public testimony. Is Franta Simeon Ohiri present?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, you have 2 minutes to give your testimony.
Okay, yeah, awesome. I think that this is a great idea, just from living in the community and knowing that they work really hard to want to give back to the community. I think it's like a really positive thing. I currently do not smoke weed, but I used to, and I used to have to drive all the way to Brockton. And so I have a lot of friends that do continue to smoke weed. And so when I told them that, that it was becoming closer to Boston, and that they were doing the delivery service. They were really excited about it because, you know, driving all the way to Boston just to get, you know, good quality, it's a lot. So I'm excited to hear now, because this is news to me now, that they're actually opening up like the retail store inside. So I think that that's really great for the community. And I think that, you know, they're really great people. And I feel like it'd be just a really good addition to, you know, what they're trying to do.
Okay, thank you. Now, would anyone else like to provide testimony on this matter? Okay, with that, the board will take this matter under advisement. And we will move on to the next matter. This item was deferred at the BCB's May 28th, 2025 voting hearing. The applicant has requested an opportunity to present further information to the board and will be given 5 minutes to present, followed by questions and comments from the board. And again, no additional testimony will be heard on this matter following questions and comments from the board. The applicant is Zenith United LLC. The proposed license premise is 417 to 421 Hyde Park Ave in Roslindale. This is a marijuana retail license. The proposed hours of operation are Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. This is an equity applicant. They filed their application on September 12th, 2023. They filed with Inspectional Services on April 30th, 2024, and they held their community meeting on January 29th, 2025. There is a buffer zone conflict with another establishment. Who is present on behalf of the licensee? Okay, sorry, you're on mute.
Can I share my screen?
Yes.
Okay, can you see the presentation?
Yep.
Okay. So I want to thank the board for having us back today to address some of the concerns that were raised after our last presentation. And I know that we don't have a lot of time to speak, so I'll get straight into it. And I hope that we can have some questions and dialogue afterwards to go over any outstanding topics. But we wanted to begin by addressing the overall concern that we understood from the board in their meeting, that this was somewhat of a more aspirational plan than something that we were able to convey to the board to believe that this was something that could be brought to fruition. So we wanted to give some more background information on our what we believe is our capability, as well as how we see our team and group and proposal as a perfect mold to meet what the board is looking for when vetting these applications. And so the initial point that I want to make is the foundation of this business is two local owners, and Kayla and Manny. They started our team, and they're from the Roslindale area. They've grown up there, gone to school there, their family there, and they are also social equity applicants. And so we think that right there we have two pieces of criteria that very much fit what the board is looking for. And thereafter, Kayla and Manny took I believe, a very prudent and professional decision to seek out assistance and build a team to fill in the gaps where they may have had lacks in their experience or abilities in operating this type of a business. And so the first thing they did is they brought on our team member, Sean Coleman, who's not able to be here today. But Sean is a practicing cannabis attorney and has been doing so since 2018. Sean is also a technical assistance provider, and he's contracted by the state and the city separately to provide technical assistance to cannabis applicants and cannabis operators. And so he's obviously held at a high regard as it pertains to his cannabis knowledge and know-how. And I think that was a great step for Manny and Kayla to seek out his assistance as they were building up this proposal and their plan to go after this endeavor. What then occurred was Sean introduced me to the group. Sean and I had worked together in the past, and Kayla and Manny were looking for some more operational experience to add to their team. And some more information about myself. I don't know that I gave a lot last time, and I don't intend to sit here and toot my own horn. I don't like to do that, but I think that it's important that the board understand the experience of our team. And so I've been operating in the cannabis industry since 2015. I moved out to Seattle, Washington when I finished college. and got into the industry in 2015 and then moved out to Massachusetts in 2018 with a partner with the intention of opening cannabis dispensaries. In 2020, I opened 2 cannabis dispensaries. I served as the general manager of each of those. I wrote the SOPs. I built out the dispensary, hired the staff. I wore every hat as it pertains to the operations of the dispensaries. We had over 50 employees. And we did well over 10 million in annual revenue and operated profitable dispensaries. I've also assisted in the licensing and operations of 7 other licensed operations in Massachusetts as a consultant. And similarly here, I'm coming on to serve as a managerial operational role. And so I think that what that has done is really created this team that has a lot of capability, but also has local roots, social equity component. And I think from all of our experience combined and the passion of Kayla and Manny to open and build a business in their community really does create this perfect mold for what I think that the commission, or rather the board, is looking for. And so again, I don't know that we have enough time to go into everything that we wanted to go into today. But I hope that there can be some more questions to potentially go over why we believe Zenith is well positioned, is not going to be one of these applicants that is potentially destined to fail. And we certainly understand that the board doesn't want to set anyone up for failure, but we believe that our past experiences really have allowed us to develop a roadmap for Zenith to be cognizant and aware of the things that they have in front of them, and to build out a budget and monthly costs that are manageable to deal with potential delays that could occur and we know will occur from experiencing this process in the past and other establishments that I've worked with. Lastly, again, I'm sure I'm right at about 5 minutes. We also heard the concern of the board that there were questions about our security plan. And so we went out and we brought on a security liaison, and Santos Perez Jr., who I believe is here today, will be available for questions. And he's a retired Boston police officer who actually worked in the Hyde Park area, that's reviewed our security plan, and we're going to continue working with him as it pertains to our security procedures to ensure that we have a third party with great experience in this area that we can work with and ensure that we're paying attention to the right things. The last piece was the buffer zone conflict. I assume I'm at 5 minutes, but could I say?
Yeah, you can finish up.
So there's a lot of things that I would like to say about the buffer zone conflict, and I think what I hope I've gotten across in this short dialogue is I believe that the buffer zone reduction was created for specific circumstances, and I think that the totality of what we are offering here with the local ownership, the social equity component, and the experienced operators being a part of this team creates this environment. And having found a location that can be very difficult to find, a location that is affordable with a landlord that isn't raking you over the coals with their terms and is working through this process with you to help mitigate your overhead costs, to find a location like that on a busy road with parking and the floor plan is manageable to build it out and not at ridiculous cost. It's a diamond in the rough, and it's really hard to find. And we hope that that can be considered by the board, that we believe this is why the buffer zone reduction is an option for circumstances like this. So thank you for the time again, and we would like to answer any questions you would have.
Okay, thank you. Now we will move on to the questions from the board members, starting with Chairwoman Joyce.
Thank you, Luke. I am going to defer my questions until after the other commissioners have a chance to ask questions.
Okay, Commissioner Holmes.
Well, I was the holdout with the security plan for the last meeting, so I'm happy to see that the 2 owners took the advice of the collective board and actually reached out and got a little bit more guidance. So for that, I am appreciative, and I thank you guys for listening to us and really buffering up your presentation and getting the stuff that we need to help you move forward. So with that being said, you've satisfied my requirements, so I don't have any further questions.
Thank you.
Commissioner Soto.
Thanks, Luke. I believe, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe I have to recuse myself from this one, given that I was not present at the original presentation. But certainly that was my previous understanding. But if that is incorrect, um,
I don't think
then
you,
let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to abstain.
yeah, I don't recall you being here, but nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Commissioner Gandhi.
No questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Smith.
Thank you, Luke. I looked back at your employment plan. There were a lot of percentages. Remind me again how many people you were going to hire.
Sorry, were you done with the question?
Yeah, can you remind me again how many people you were going to hire? And like full-time, part-time? I see a lot of percentages. Achieve 50% of this, achieve 70%, 75% of this. Can
Yes.
you just remind me of the numbers? I can't.
Yeah, I think that our ballpark would be around 12 employees. And I think that, and this is at the beginning, and I think what we would like to see is around 7 of those, 6 to 7 being full-time and the remainder being part-time. And then gauging our volume from there and adding or removing as needed.
So 6 or 7 full-time and the rest is part-time?
Correct.
Okay. You're going to require your hiring managers. Who are your hiring folks to do DI training?
Yep. To
How
begin,
many managers are you bringing on?
sorry, can you repeat the last part of that?
How many managers are you bringing on?
So Kayla and Manny are actually going to serve as the managers, which I think is great to have ownership leading the way. So they'll be handling the initial hiring, and the intention will be that they will be the managers for the foreseeable future, and will be looking to promote from within from the initial batch of employees that we bring on.
Are they managers who are going to be on site working there, or they're just doing all the hiring? And
No, they'll be on site. They'll be walking the walk every day.
other benefits you have for your folks?
Yeah, I think last time there was the question about the bus pass.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good idea. It wasn't something that we had thought of, but I think that that is a great idea. We do have quite a bit of parking, but I just think that that's a nice, it's relatively low cost, and it's something that can really help out the staff. And so we talked about that. We've also talked about vacation time, similar as I saw in the last presentation. They talked about giving 40 hours of vacation time per year. And then that would be in addition to the earned time that they get from the state for sick leave as well. There will be employee discounts, and I think that there's a variety of other things that we plan to offer.
And just last question, you talked about in your presentation about is Zenit a poor candidate for a buffer zone? So we understand the lack of viable alternative locations. Do you have to be in Roslindale?
Well, I think, and I can't speak for Manny and Kayla, but knowing them, I know that they want to build something in this community. And I actually didn't understand that they weren't able to have public comment, but I know that they have multiple people that have actually attended this call to voice their support for this dispensary. To Kayla and Manny, this is more than just opening a dispensary. It's opening a dispensary in the area that they grew up in, live in, work in, where their friends and family are. And we cleared this up last time. The school across the street is moving, it's going away, but that's where Manny went to school. So it's very much in their neck of the woods. And that's part of the reason why I really hope the board can be considerate of that, along with our experience and ability to bring this proposal to fruition, but also the local roots of it, and how that really fits with what I think is the mission of the board, to prop up people from this community that want to take part and have been prudent and have been patient and are dedicated and really want to do something in their own community for a long time.
Thank you.
Luke, can I add something
Yeah.
just to the security presentation, would it be possible and not too much? I mean, I don't really want to throw a whole nother set of work on you, but is it possible for you guys to now put together a more robust and complete security plan now that you've hired a consultant as opposed to what you presented us the first time?
Yeah, I think that we provided you with our security SOP, which is what we would provide to the Cannabis Control
You
Commission.
put a new one in with this presentation?
I don't know if it's new. I think that that's what we have provided, but an additional package that we could provide is when when you go through the architectural review phase with the CCC, they ask for like locations of cameras, locations of all the security equipment. So I think we could put that together in tandem with our security SOP. It really should detail everything that we are going to be doing as it pertains to like entrance access, the security alarm system, the backup system, the generators, the exterior lighting. Like I think it touches on everything. So certainly if there's anything that's missing, we can provide it, but maybe some schematical plans like the ones.
Not even that technical, just to update what the day-to-day security plans are from the minute a customer comes to the door, what we do, what our security person is going to do. How are they trained? Who are they? So even if you just updated the old one with just some, pinpoint information, it would be fine.
Okay. Yeah, we can certainly
Because
consider.
for me, that was the problem, that there really wasn't a detailed plan for security on a day-to-day basis. I know what CCC says, and it's very easy to just pull that out and just paste it and, say,
Sure.
but what are your people going to be doing on a daily basis?
Yeah, I think we can find a way to.
Nothing elaborate, just, simple layman's terms.
Got it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Kensler.
I'm not sure if this was part of Commissioner Smith's question, so forgive me if I missed it. But you said so you have the plan is for 12 employees. Do you know what the part-time, full-time split of that would be?
Yeah, I'd like to see 6 to 7 full-time and then the remainder being part-time. And what we've found success with in the past is then adding on additional part-time to have flexibility in scheduling. And so probably adding more part-time before we would add more full-time. But if volume increases, then we could add additional full-time. But the goal would be to first add additional part-time for flexibility.
And then for the like paid time off and vacation time, would that be something that would be available only to the full-time employees, or do you envision it having some availability for part-time employees as well?
I would envision it having availability for part-time employees. There may be a cutoff if someone is really just working very minimal hours, but I would expect our part-times to be between 20 and 30 hours per week. And I think if you fall in there, you definitely would be receiving some benefits. Maybe not all the benefits that the full-time are, but certainly some, like paid time off and things like that. Still earning that.
All right. I'm all set.
Thank you.
Any other additional questions from the board members? Okay. Jack, if you could just unshare your screen, that'd be.
And just quickly, is there any opportunity for members of the public to speak on this, or is that not an option?
Not today. That was they were given the opportunity in May to do that.
Yeah, we didn't understand that wouldn't be provided today. Would there be any possibility to send in additional letters, just comment from?
Yes, it'll be open until Tuesday or next Tuesday at 5 p.m.
I think we received another letter from a community organization that we had been working with. And if it's allowable, I think we could also just provide some of the testimony that the public was looking to provide today, but we didn't know that they couldn't speak today. So that's on us.
All right. The board will take this matter under advisement. And those were all the transactional matters before the board today. The board's voting meeting will take place next Wednesday, August 20th at 1 p.m. Again, the record will be kept open until next Tuesday, August 19th at 5 p.m. And that concludes this hearing, and everyone have a good afternoon.